Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of our Snippet Manager tutorial series. Now in this video we are going to be hopefully checking off the third and or maybe fourth to do on this list here, and we want to basically process the user input and replace it with a snippet. Now again, we settled on a library called IOHook. As just kind of a refresher, we settled on a library called IOHook to read in the user input by doing this. And then we're going to at least use a library called NodeJS in order to actually control the keyboard for the user. And of course, there are many alternatives to this library here, and you can pretty much just use whatever you want. If this doesn't work for you, then just use any other one. Robot.js is another alternative I've heard. I remember I chose not to use it, but I'm not completely sure why. Maybe it was invalid. Maybe I could have used it. Who knows? So yeah, we go ahead and fire up this, and let's just kind of review what we have from the last episode. So I'm just going to run node index.js, or whoops, let me go into the folder really quick. Miss snippets 3. Okay, so we're going to do a node index.js here. And then we have this, and when we type anything, and actually, sorry about that again. I'm getting lagged because I'm running IOHook twice, so I'm going to go ahead and close my actual snippets program once again, and we'll fire this back up. And as you can see, as I start typing, you'll see it starts printing whatever I'm typing, like hello world, just like that, which is perfect. So now we know it's working, and then we want to basically take this. So we know MSG character, or message character, has the actual character we're typing in. So what we can do is we can actually append it to our user input, just like that. And there are a couple kind of downsides to doing this. Like for example, when you type in a backspace, it won't actually delete a character from here. But for now, this will work as our kind of tests example, and then we can console.log our full example, or if you know how to do template strings in JavaScript, you just use a backtick, which is above the tab, and then you want to type in our current string : and then you can do a $, and then open and close brackets, and then you can put a variable in here, or you could put JavaScript in here inside the string itself, and this will become the value that's inside user input. Just a little fun thing. If you want to do some more reading, just go on Google and search up JavaScript template string. Just like that, and it talks about this. So yeah, I'll probably link to that actually too. I'll link to that in, let me go ahead and just grab that and remind myself to toss this into the description. Template, or MDN, template string. Boom. Okay, so yeah. Notice what happens when I run this. It will type in our string, our full string that we've been typing. And notice when I hit backspace, it won't actually delete from that, like I said. So of course we can type in something like hello space world, and then that will show up just like that. So yeah. Now I guess the second kind of step here is we want to process our user input. So we're going to start off by doing a couple of checks. Now, we're just going to go with the simplest kind of check, and we want to check for our queue. So again, we want to create a queue, which for me is this exclamation greater than sign here, and we're just going to put that into a variable. And then we are going to be checking for that queue. So we want to basically be saying if queue, and you know, a way to make this more robust, since our queue could actually be any number of characters, we want to check our current string against the queue. So I could think the best way to do that is loop through for let I equals 0, I is less than min, like this. I is less than min, or math.min of the queue.length and or the user input.length, and then plus I. And what I'm doing here is I'm looping through. Just this is a generic for loop, and we are setting it equal to 0, and we are going to basically loop through the minimum between the queue length and the user input length. For example, if the queue length is 2 characters, then this will only loop 2. But if the user input happens to be 1 character, then this will only loop once. And basically what we're going to do is, let's say the user input is an exclamation point, and then our Q is an exclamation point greater than. Well, since this one is shorter, it's only going to loop once, and it's going to check this exclamation point against this exclamation point, and if they're matching, then it will let it slide. But for example, if I type in H, then it will say, hey, these don't match. I'm not actually typing the Q, so it'll just throw this away. Do you understand? Or, I can't ask, sorry. I have my tutoring mode on right now. But so yeah, that's the gist of it, is that, again, we have our Q, and we want to type in those characters like that, and then we want to type in hello, or we want to type in our site, for example, and then that will cause it to autofill with our snippet. So we want to be checking for this, and if we have an exclamation point, this is part of the queue. So we don't want to throw this away until we know that, for example, if I do this, then I know that I'm not typing in the queue, and we can throw it away. So the way we can do that is now we can compare. If q at I, so if that first character, for example, is equal to, or is not equal to rather, is not equal, and what I'm doing is I'm doing an exclamation point equals equals, and that my font just turns it into this big not equals here, is not equal to the user input at I, then we can basically clear the user input like that, because not equal, or not q not found, clearing input, or something like that. And then so yeah, we're going to go ahead and eject the user input and set it equal to a blank string, and then that's all we need to do. But if it does happen to make it through, and in fact we can just we can actually just return here, and we'll say if it makes it past. I'm trying to think. This is not super efficient, but it'll work for our purposes. So yeah, if it makes it past, then we are checking. We're going to set const rest, or const user, I guess, command is equal to the user input dot slice. User input dot slice of, and then we want to start it. Let's go ahead and start it at q.length, which will start it at 2. If the string is like this, h, then we want to start it at 0, 1, 2. So yeah, we do want to start it at q.length, and then the end number will be user input dot length minus 1. I think that's correct. And then let's just go ahead and confirm by saying command, and then let's go ahead and print our user command right there. So let's go ahead and run this as a test. So again, we type in a bunch of stuff, and in fact we can actually show this in action by adding some print statements. So we can add a print statement whenever we are clearing our input, saying q not found clearing input, and then we can yeah, we can have that. So if I run this and I type in a q not found clearing input, and the reason for that is, again, our q is this exclamation greater than, but we typed in an a, and that is not our q. But for example, if I type in an exclamation point, it doesn't say q not found. If I type in a greater than, notice our command is now blank. So if I type h, boom, our command is now HELLO, and it's lagging behind for the reason that it is, actually, why is it lagging behind? It's lagging behind because I'm using the wrong index. That's my bad. So I guess we could just use that, and that'll work. And then, of course, we want to say if, we could say if here, user input dot starts with q. So if we actually have the full q that we're starting with, because just as a refresher here, this for loop is only letting the code through if we are even partially having the q, but we actually only want to check the command when we fully have the q. So we can go ahead and run this again, and unexpected token. Did I type that? Yeah, my bad. Right. Okay. So I rerun this, and let me just clean this up. So again, I type in an A, and then it says Q not found. I backspace, same thing. If I type an exclamation point, it'll say string exclamation greater than, okay, now it's starting to show our command. So if I type in H, our command is H, E-L-L-O, and boom, somehow now we are able to tell that the user is typing hello, which then we can now check against our snippet list and find, and if it matches a snippet, then we can basically print it. So yeah, we have the basics of being able to process our user input. And then another kind of miscellaneous thing, which actually I'm not going to end up adding, but I'm telling you right now, if you are making this on your own and if you are following along here, another thing you might want to check for is check for if the instead of just randomly adding the user input to the message character or adding the message character to the user input, check if the message character's key code, because remember, or if the the key char is equal to a backspace. And if it is equal to a backspace, so if equals backspace, this is just pseudocode here, which is not real code, then maybe just you could say user input dot slice, and then you could basically slice off that last. You could remove the last character instead of adding, because just adding this MSG character right here, if the user types in a backspace, it'll add a weird character and it won't match anything. So that's just a thing to watch out for. So in fact, that is what I do on my actual snippet manager. I just don't have enough time to add it into this video or the next video, because we want to make these, I want to make this like a mini series length. So yeah, we have the ability to check for the command now, and then now we want to basically only check for the command when we see our terminating character. So again, we could say let terminating character equal to this, and we are making it equal to a space, but for example, I could make it equal to a minus sign, and we're actually going to use that for an example. So our terminating character is going to be equal to a minus sign. And then we come here, and then we only want to print our command when we find the terminating character. So we want to say if MSG char, because remember MSG character right here is the current character, and we want to check if it's equal to the terminating character. Then we want to, we probably want to split off the last, so let me just Google JavaScript, remove last character from string, because that's what we're doing. Because the gist of it is if the user types in this minus to end off and terminate, we don't want to include the minus in the command, so we want to trim off that last. So text.slice is 0.1, so we can just say user command equals user command, or actually no, slice, oh yeah, slice does not edit it. So user command.slice, and then we can say 0.-1, and there we go. So if I just run this, and I come in here to Google and just type in exclamation point, boom, and then now if I type in hello space world, and then I type in the minus sign, it should have, but it is not. Let's see what's going on here. It should have printed something. Let me test. Okay, there's just something wrong right now for some reason. Oops. Yeah, because it's not printing anything. That's highly unusual. Let's figure out what's going on here. Okay. So what if I type in A? All right, so it's not printing anymore. That's very weird. Let me try to troubleshoot. Let me go ahead and close this terminal and reopen. And let's reopen this. Node index. Okay, if I type in F. All of a sudden it's not working anymore. Press. Let me add in a little console log to see if it's detecting my key press. It is no longer detecting my key press. All right. So yeah, I guess I'm going to have to troubleshoot this, and I guess we're going to have to cut this video short because it is 11:06 p.m. as you can see on the little bottom bar, and I'm getting tired. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and continue this. We did not quite get as far as I wanted, and we're going to have to continue processing the user input in the next video. Just a quick kind of what's coming next is we are going to basically take this terminating character, and as soon as we find the user has typed that, we are going to take their whole command, and then we're going to check it against our big list of snippets, which you will create your own list. For example, like I said, if you type in site, maybe it will replace it with google.com, like that. and that's what will happen. So you're going to make your own list, and we're going to make it so that it checks it against that list, and then we can figure out how to replace it in another video. So yeah. If you want to check out more videos in this playlist, or if you missed the previous 2 videos that I've made covering this application, you can go ahead and check out the playlist linked in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.